My name is Zara Jelani, and you're watching The Blame Game. Today we're going to be discussing Rwanda and the Rwandan Genocide. Rwanda consists of two ethnic groups of people. The Hutus, which are the majority group, since they consist of 85% of the population, and the Tutsis, which are the minority group, since they contain 15% of the population. And as shown in the graphics in the video, both Hutus and Tutsis do not like each other.
You suck!
So the issue that we're going to be discussing is the Rwandan Genocide. So, the Rwandan Genocide was a tragic conflict in which many Hutus massacred Tutsis at a faster rate than World War II Holocaust. Just after 100 days since the genocide started, about 1 million people were brutally murdered.
Oh my God.
While it is known that the Rwandan genocide left dramatic marks on Rwanda, it still remains unclear on who to blame for this genocide. And here are a couple of suggestions. The first guilty party to make the blame game is the United Nations. The United Nations was created for the sole purpose of, wait for it, stopping genocides. In this case, they totally failed. The United Nations was blamed for allowing the Rwandan genocide to go on as long as it did, and also for not taking the right measures to stop it from happening. Romeo Delaware, a Canadian officer, asked numerous times for the United Nations to enhance the rather ungenerous 400 troops they sent in and to deal with and put a halt to the genocide. On top of all of that, the United Nations received reports at the start of the genocide that a massive slaughter was occurring, but they didn't do anything about it and deliberately avoided the genocide by claiming it was not a genocide since it occurred within countries rather than among countries. If the United Nations had acted sooner, then perhaps the number of people murdered during the genocide would be half or a third of what it is now. Our second guilty party is Belgium. After World War I, where evil fighting cat nations, as you can see in the picture, defeated Germany and created the Treaty of Versailles, Germany had to give up its colonies, and one of those colonies, Rwanda, went to Belgium. Previously, Tutsis were only considered superior to Hutus in occupation and economic state. However, after Belgium introduced ethnic identity cards, the ethnic divide between the Hutus and the Tutsis was reinforced. Because of the ethnic identity cards, Hutus were not receiving the same treatment as Tutsis, while Tutsis received benefits such as better education, better jobs, more money, and superiority, and these benefits were all because of ethnic identity cards. This helped fuel the fire between Hutus and Tutsis and antagonized Tutsis against Hutus. Belgium's rule was the main reason there was even a genocide, because they were the ones who fueled Hutus' hate and anger. Time for a not-so-fun fact. In order to determine the superior ethnic group in Rwanda, Belgium brought in eugenics scientists, and during that time they believed that having a bigger skull meant having a bigger brain, which ultimately meant being smarter. Through this method, the Tutsis were pronounced the superior race. Contemporary technologies were a common way to communicate in the 1990s. After the Hutus' president died, radios were used to spread the hate and inform Hutus around Rwanda that it was okay and encouraged to murder Tutsis. If it were not for the radios in Rwanda, then the genocide would have been much smaller scaled. International media is also to blame for the ongoing genocide because they were the ones who conveyed a false image of two African tribes mindlessly slaughtering each other instead of calling it a genocide. As a result, there was little public pressure in the West for governments to intervene and encourage less foreign involvement. A few honorable mentions or honorable blames are France, as they armed and trained the Hutus' army, basically supplying them with the guns they used to kill the Tutsis. The international community, so you, for just standing there and watching. The United States, the most powerful country in the world, for not doing anything simply because it wasn't in their best interest.
Better have my money. Y'all should know. Now I ain't saying she a gold digger, but she ain't messing with no broke.
In conclusion, although many people have been blamed for causing or allowing the Rwandan genocide to take place, we as a society should learn from our past mistakes and accept stewardship for past events. Hopefully, the international community has learned enough to react faster and more efficiently so that we can never again have to witness another genocide. Or maybe we haven't. Anyway, thanks for watching The Blame Game. Join us next week as we figure out who sank the Titanic.